how about some 4 downs? Double C and CJ. Can I make that a thing?
Well, actually, my first name is John, so it could be JC and CJ.
JC and CJ. Let's make it confusing as humanly possible.
Yeah.
4 downs brought to you today. Talking Cruton brought to you by Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com.
4 downs. 4 questions. 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
4
downs. A presentation of offthehooksports.com.
All right. So to give you some historic reference, scale of 1 to 10. 1 is when Phil Sims' son, what's his name again, Calhoun?
Chris Sims.
When he decided not to go to UT and then blamed it on racial segregation within the team, it was the worst non-commitment in the history of Tennessee football. That's a 1 in terms of bad losses. A 10 in terms of great gets is Peyton Manning or Heath Shuler because of the way they can affect your recruiting moving forward. So scale of 1 to 10, losing Sammy Brown is Caleb Giroux.
Yeah, I'd say a 3 or 4, just because he was not favored to come to Tennessee. Obviously, he did like Tennessee, and he said he enjoyed meeting with the defensive staff. So kind of, and we're still early on in Heupel's tenure. You got to think like they were probably the 3rd school. He committed to Clemson, so that'd be 1. Georgia was 2. I'd say Tennessee was probably 3 for him.
Yes.
So may pay in the long run, but honestly, from what I've been reading and what I was told, Sammy Brown going to Clemson, he just wanted to play. If you go to Georgia, you have to sit 1 or 2 years because they have the best linebackers in the country. Clemson, he liked the campus, he preyed on it, and he could play year 1. So, and we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's that big of a loss just because he was never assumed. That'd be like if Boo Carter didn't go to Tennessee, it'd be a massive loss. But Sammy Brown was not expected to come to Tennessee, so it's whatever.
Okay, that leads me to 2nd down. What is Boo waiting for, and does he end up at Tennessee?
I don't know what he's waiting for. I would be very surprised if he didn't end up at Tennessee, did not end up at Tennessee. Tennessee's the only SEC school in his top schools. He has flirted with Michigan, Colorado. Deion Sanders is his main recruiter at Colorado, which is always a little scary. I think he's just a guy who's going to enjoy the process and get a lot of attention and probably build his NIL persona or his profile, I guess, with his big commitment and stuff like that. But I would be very surprised if he didn't end up at Tennessee. And if he didn't end up at Tennessee, we've seen him transfer 3 high schools. He might come back to Tennessee as a sophomore.
That's true. He could transfer back with Sammy Brown's mullet. Caleb, I think he's enjoying the recruiting process. I think he is. I think he likes the attention. I think he ends up at Tennessee. I think if he were to go to Colorado, he would end up back at Tennessee a year later and transfer back. So I think Boo is eventually a ball.
But I mean, whenever you – I was going to say whenever you get like a 5-star, 4-star like Boo is, like why not enjoy the process if everybody in the country wants you?
Yep. It's exactly what my son said.
Go
ahead.
Bunch of free stuff. Yeah, take
exactly.
advantage of it.
Bunch of free stuff.
Drew, where I push back is on 1st down. I actually think it's a little bit higher of a loss. And the reason is because he committed to Clemson. And I've said from the start that key for Tennessee football going forward, there's not space. There's not room for Tennessee and Clemson to exist as powerhouses in the same space. So when they have recruiting battles, Tennessee doesn't have to beat Georgia, but they can't lose to Clemson. And I think that's the only issue with Sammy Brown committing.
I think
Sammy
Dabo accidentally got a commitment from Sammy Brown.
Kind of fell in the right spot. Could be.
Yeah.
The thing I love most of all about his mullet is that it's more of a Kentucky waterfall mullet because it's curly and it's kind of got that going down the back of your head sort of look, like it's a waterfall that happens in Kentucky. That's what I like.
No idea what you're referring to, Dave. Sorry.
I didn't know the waterfalls are different.
When you have a curly mullet, it looks like it's flowing down rocks. So it's a Kentucky waterfall. Our recruiting update in 4 downs brought to you by Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. Before I tell you who is the most important prospect from this past weekend, not named Boo, I want to remind you that you go to crafttreats.com and they have their chill pills with the CBD derivative that is awesome for your pet's digestive issues, social anxiety, or also arthritis as well. Crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. The promo code Off the Hook. All right. So who from this past weekend, this past little recruiting cycle that we've seen is Tennessee most likely to get not named Boo? We know that it's not going to be Sammy Brown, but out of this last little group that's shown interest in Tennessee in the past 7 to 10 days, what do you got?
I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit and say Spillman, Edwin Spillman out of Nashville. His brother plays for Tennessee. He's a guy who has told everybody he's going to enjoy the recruiting process, not let his brother being at Tennessee affect his decision. But he's still an in-state guy, still a Tennessee fan, and he spends a lot of time on campus, and he spends a lot of time with his brother, and he just is trending towards Tennessee. So I'll take the easy way out and say Spillman.
All right. So last thing,
typical Nashville kid who's going to boost Tennessee's recruiting rankings, but is not actually going to be that valuable on campus. Sorry,
you hate
said it.
Nashville kids.
Jalen Hurd soured me on Nashville kids. Jalen Hurd was a 5-star. How in the world was he a 5-star?
Well, I mean, if you line him up the I formation, he might have been a 5-star.
Okay.
He was just a terrible fit for what they were doing. Okay, who from this past weekend would be the biggest get? Forget about leans. We know Sammy Brown is out of the conversation. At least I'm going to take him out of the conversation. Commitments are non-binding, but I'm moving him out. Who from the past weekend would be the biggest get?
I'll say offensive tackle Daniel Calhoun. I'm not a big fan of Tennessee piling up 3-star offensive linemen. I understand, and Calhoun said it before, like that's a hard position to scout. You know, a coach might see something that another coach doesn't, stuff like that. But you have to have size in the trenches and get true tested guys. And I mean, Daniel Calhoun, 6 foot, 6.5, 330 pounds. He has an official visit locked in with Tennessee already. He was here for the 865 live event, meeting other commits and learning why they committed. You know, Jake Merklinger, the quarterback for the 24 class, the linemen who are already committed. He spent a ton of time with those guys and with Ellerby during the event. So I feel like Tennessee is in a very good spot with Calhoun and Daniel Calhoun. And the only thing is he also has official visits with Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and Auburn. So Tennessee has their work cut out for them there, but I think he would be a huge get physically and just for the class as a whole.
Good stuff. What can we expect out of you on offthehooksports.com, Caleb Giroux?
Well, we'll see a little bit of 2026 quarterback action today.
Oh, who we got 2026 quarterback action?
Josiah Oxenride was camping with the Vols this past week, so talked to him a little bit, and Halsey seems to like him, so we'll see what he has to say.
Yeah, it's time to move on. I mean, that one guy, Nico, he's had enough time. If he can't get it rolling, it's time to get out. Don't let the big orange door hit you in the rear headed out. That is recruiting, man. It's constantly churning. So let's start looking for the next great guy for the Vols. Great stuff as always. I think Calhoun, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take yours out of this past group. They need some 4- and 5-star offensive lineman cats. And right now, the mindset from within the program that I've been told is to develop these guys. Well, I mean, that's worked with Darnell Wright, got the right mindset. Cooper Mays grew into a fantastic all-SEC type of player, but that seems risky long-term. I think you want the guys that are coming out of high school benching 400 pounds. As you know, I just think that seems a little butchish to me. Butch Jones, no other reference. Caleb Giroux, we look forward to it. Thank you as always, sir.
All right, I'll see y'all later.